Well, good evening. Welcome to We the People Prepping. This is Dan. Does size matter? Let's look at it a little bit here. Okay, I am a man of 5'8", so I'm a short man. Okay, I weigh 261 pounds. How many of you want to meet me in a dark alley? You know, thing is, I'm the smallest male in my family, other than my father. But even my baby brother's, good at least 2 inches taller than me. My oldest brother is 6'3". My second oldest brother, he's 6'1", 6'2". Here I am. I'm 5'8". Short little guy, huh? But I've been in a lot of fights. Been in combat zones, and the one thing that I have always known my entire life: size don't really matter. Okay, me being short, I've got a great center of gravity. It's a low center of gravity, so it's hard to take me off my feet. Bigger men, easier to take off their feet. I'm pretty stout, so one of the first things I go for when I get in a fight with a bigger guy, is I will snap his knee. If I can't snap his knee, I kick him in the nuts, punch him in the nuts, whatever I got to do. Bring him down to my size. Get him down on the ground. It's over for him. And some of you might say, well, that's not fair. Who the hell said fights were fair? I've never been in a fair fight in my life. There is no such thing as a fair fight. You do what you got to do to win. Period. After my grandfather died, my grandmother moved out to California, and she was living in a retirement community. Well, I was a teenager. I was out there with her for a while, and one of the ladies that lived in her building, she was an older woman in her late 60s, almost 70, and she had had a stroke. So she had very limited use of her right arm and her right leg. She walked with a cane. Well, one day she went down to the local 7-Eleven down at the corner. It was half a block away, and she got mugged, and they beat the hell out of her. Well, after that incident, I took it upon myself to start teaching the seniors that lived in her building, because I'd been, since I was a little kid, I grew up training in martial arts and wrestling and boxing, kickboxing. I've done all sorts of fighting. Anyhow, everybody thought that they were too old or they were too disabled to be able to defend themselves. And I told them, it's not about your age. It's not about your ability to stand. It's about protecting yourself and getting away. Okay, at their age, they don't need to stand and fight. They need to, hurt their opponent and get away as best possible. Like the woman that was mugged. Okay, well, I took it upon myself to once she got healed up and everything, I talked to her, gave her one-on-one instruction. Say the thing is, she walked with a cane, And the cane that she had was a very nice cane. It had an eagle's head on it, and the beak on it came to a nice point for the handle, and I told her, and I trained her on how to do it, to use that cane as a weapon. Okay, and I told her, this is your lifeline here, because it's something you'll always have with you, and anyhow, it was about 3 months or so later. She was walking to the convenience store again, and somebody tried to mug her. And she's an easy target, I mean, she's old, she's disabled, walking with a cane, dragging one foot. So, they tried to mug her again. Well, because of what I'd taught her, she flipped that cane around, hooked the guy in the nuts with that cane, and yanked as hard as she could. She actually ripped his nutsack open, and then she got away. There is no such thing as being too small or anything like that. I mean, if you're, really crippled up, odds are you're not going to be able to defend yourself. But this woman was still able to get around. Yeah, she had one foot to drag, but she was still able to use her one good arm and partially her bad arm. But they'd beat her so bad that first time that it took her about a month to recover from it. And but the second time they tried to mug her, she didn't go down without a fight. Once she ripped that guy's nutsack open, the other guy that was with him fled. Most people have things on them that they can use as a weapon, and they don't even realize it. Car keys, ink pen. I mean, some women wear their hair up in a bun, and they use these little dowel rod things with a point on them. That's a good weapon. Like car keys, of course, they're an easy weapon. Just stick them between your fingers and punch. But ink pen, I can kill you with an ink pen easier than you could blink an eye. Hell, it can kill you with a paper clip if it wanted. But the point is, everybody has some sort of weapon. Most people carry something with them at all times, and it's just a matter of using what you've got. That's the same way with your size. Okay, size doesn't really matter. You can't. I've seen some of the smallest guys take down some of the biggest guys you've ever seen. Hell, the one guy that damn near whooped my ass. I mean, he only stood 4'11", but he was like a damn spider monkey, crawling all up and down me. I mean, he made the mistake. He got within range to where I could grab him. That was otherwise. I mean, he had me rocking. I was wobbly as hell. I mean, he would hit, move, and he was all over the place. He climbed up on my damn shoulders and popped me on top of the head. It was amazing how fast he was. But this little guy damn near whooped my ass, and he gave me a run for my money. But like I said, he made the mistake. He got within range where I could grab a hold of him. I grabbed him by the throat, choke slammed him to the ground. It was over after that. I mean, my brother, that's 6'3", he was 325 at the time, and I mean he's built like a brick shit house at the time. And he took my car. I was 16 years old. I just bought this car. He what it was, he wanted to take my car, and he was drunk. I told him no. Well, he wound up taking it anyhow. And when we got back, we got into it. And it busted my eardrum, which totally threw off my equilibrium. I could barely stand to fight. But I put everything I had into my shoulder, right into his knee, snapped his knee, took him down to the ground. After that, it was over. I mean, he was hurting too bad to even think about trying to fight me. I mean, I was in a lot of pain myself. We both wound up at the hospital that night. But, the thing was, I won't back down from somebody just because they're bigger than me. Bigger doesn't mean stronger. Bigger doesn't mean faster. Same thing goes with a weapon. Okay? I can kill you just as easy with a 22 as I can with the 357 or 45 or anything like that. It's a matter of knowing where to shoot somebody. And the thing about a 22 shell, it's designed to bounce around inside of a person. Whereas like a 45 or 357 is designed to go through the person. So I like my chances with the 22. I shoot you, it's going to bounce around inside you. It's not just going to go through you. Hell, knives even. Bigger doesn't always mean better. I like big knives just as much as anybody else. I mean, and hell, I carry Bowie knives with me, but I also carry just a little 4-inch blade in my pocket. Plus I carry my my Gerber tool. It has about a 3-inch blade on it. About 3-inch blade. But I can kill you just as easy, actually probably easier with a small blade that you may not even see I have. And big blade, people are going to see it coming. Small blade, they ain't going to see that sucker. Not until it's too late anyhow. And small blade's easier to hold on to as well. Trust me on that. And I've gotten into knife fights, several of them. Hell, I wish I could really show you, but there's a scar that runs down the palm of my hand here. It's hard to see on camera, but I got into a knife fight. The guy tried to stab me in the chest. I stuck my hand up and the knife went through my hand. I just closed my hand up and he couldn't get the knife back out. It was a long fight, and I walked into the emergency room with that knife still sticking through my hand, and I had a towel wrapped around it and everything to try to compress the bleeding, but I walked in there, the nurse, she hands me a clipboard, says, "Here, go fill this out and then bring it up and we'll get you seen." I'm like, "Ma'am, I'm left-handed." And she goes, "Yeah." I go, "The knife is sticking through that hand." "Well, just do the best you can." So I went and I sat down and I just smeared blood all over the paperwork, and I walked back up there and handed it to her. She took a pair of gloves, put them on, threw it away. But I got to see the doctor pretty quick after that. It was, what do you expect? I can't very well, write with a knife stuck through my hand. It's kind of hard to hold a pen, but it was an interesting thing. Give me just a second. I'm going to pause this, put my cigarette out. Anyhow, size doesn't always mean better. Bigger's not always better. Some women out there might disagree, but that's here and there. But hell, I've seen some of the smallest guys do some of the most incredible things. Growing up, everybody called me Bam Bam. I actually had blonde hair when I had hair, and I was a short little guy, but I was stronger than anybody had imagined. I mean, I grew up on a hog farm carrying pigs on my shoulders through the mud, You know, I mean, I got strength. I didn't look like it. You know, here I was this scrawny kid for the longest time. I mean, hell, I didn't break 125 pounds until what, ninth grade. You know, and then I started working out a lot and bulked up, and you know, and now it's pretty much all turned to flab now, sitting there driving truck all the time. But believe it or not, I used to be a thinner guy and very muscular. You know, but I have a friend. He stands 6'6", and he thinks that, well, he thought he was a real badass. You know, we were at a bar one night drinking together, and a guy just a little taller than me, not much, you know, maybe an inch or two taller than me, was mouthy and shit. And my friend thought, well, you know, I'm going to teach him a lesson. So I went up there and he started some shit with him. This little guy just mopped the floor with him. I mean, he rocked his world so damn bad. I mean, he laid him out right there in the bar. You know, we had to pick him up, throw him in the back of the pickup truck, and drive his ass home. You know, I mean, he thought that his size counted for something, but size doesn't count for shit if you don't have skill. You know, so, you know, like I said, this same philosophy works for everything else in life. Bigger does not always mean better. You know, hell, it goes for cars even. I mean, back when I was younger, I had a little Chevy Monza. Some of you might remember those cars. They're a little 4-cylinder, great little car. And this other old boy, he had a Chevy Nova with a V8 in it, and we drag raced. I totally skunked him. I mean, left him. He was still half mile behind me when I crossed the finish line. And the reason for that was he didn't have the skill to drive. I did. I grew up doing that kind of shit. You know, it was one of those things. You know, you grow up on a farm, you're gonna give it hell and go. You know, just like, you know, a friend of mine, Sean, we used to go out mudding together in our Jeeps. Well, his Jeep set up about 8 inches higher than mine, and he had these, you know, 36-inch tires. Here I was just running some really aggressive tires, but they weren't mud tires really. I mean, they were 295s, the 295s 70-15 or something like that, 75-15. Anyhow, but they had really aggressive tread on them. And we'd go out and we'd play in the mud, and he would always want me to go first everywhere we went. So, like, every mud hole would come up, every log we'd go over. He wanted me to be the first one to go over it because he figured, well, if I can get over it, he can get over it. Or if I can get through it, he can get through it. So we're out playing. We come across this huge mud hole. It must have been, you know, 25, 30 yards across. And, I mean, it looked nasty. And he's like, man, I don't know. I don't think you can do it. You know. So I hopped in the Jeep and I dropped her in the 4-wheel. I went, I mean, I was throwing rooster tails up behind me 30, 40 foot in the air. And I was going like hell. And I was feathering that fuel. I mean, I was giving it everything I had. I made it through to the other side. He's like, oh, well, if you can do it, I can do it. He gets about halfway across and he sunk. And it buried his Jeep. We actually had to wait for the ground to dry out a bit and bring a tractor out there, dig it out, and pull him out. You know, he had the bigger vehicle. but he didn't have the skill. Kind of getting my running theme here. Bigger isn't always better. I mean, I had this forearm here was severed. You can't really see the scar through the hair. I don't think it'd show up too well on here anyhow. But there's a scar that runs right across here. I got into a fight with a guy. He pulled a little knife on me. Just a little 3-inch blade. Boy, he stuck that sucker in and he ripped it across. All of a sudden, my hand just went limp. I mean, I couldn't do shit. I'd throw my arm up, my hand would fall straight back down. Blood just, spurting out everywhere. I didn't see the little 3-inch blade, and that's why I blocked with that arm. I didn't see the knife in his hand. He got me good, He, the fight was pretty much over after that. But I wound up having to go through about a year worth of physical therapy just to be able to write my name again because of that. But it was a valuable lesson to me that, watch out for the small things. But, that's why I said, everybody thinks that bigger means better. I've ran into some of the biggest guys in the world. Turned out that they couldn't fight for shit. And I've been shot by bigger calibers, and I've been shot by smaller calibers. And I'll tell you what, the 22 that I was shot with, that sucker hurt me more than the 45, more than the 38 slug. It hurt. It hurt more than the AK, and the AK it went straight through. But that damn 22, that son of a bitch bounced around inside me, did all sorts of damage. They said I was actually lucky to be alive after that 22 round, whereas the AK round held through and through. Wasn't no big deal. They patched it up. I was on my way. That 22, man, that damn thing got inside me and it bounced around. Just a little 22 shell, man. That's what they're designed for. They're designed to go in and just tumble. And ricochet off of everything. Whereas those larger rounds, they're just meant for penetration. They go through and through. But my whole point, I think everybody's got my point on this. Bigger, not better. Some of the best things in life actually are in small packages. The things that have brought me the most joy were when my children were born, and they were small little packages. Well, I shouldn't say small packages. They were all over 8 pounds. How my youngest, my youngest daughter, she was 9 pounds, 13 ounces when she was born. I still have her beat by half an ounce. All of my kids were over 8 pounds, so, but they, small little bundles of joy. They brought me the most joy of anything in this world. Now most of them are just assholes, but, I guess that's kind of my fault. I'm an asshole. They take after their dad. This has been Dan with, I'll quit rambling here. This is Dan with We the People Prepping. Hope you enjoyed my content. Hope you actually had something to think about tonight, because I know a lot of people out here think that bigger's better. It isn't true. But if you've enjoyed my content, please hit the subscribe button and give me a thumbs up. Ring the little bell icon so it'll let you know whenever I upload a new video. And if you would like to donate to my channel to help with this channel, feel free. The links to my Coffee account and PayPal are in the description. If you have any questions or a subject that you want me to talk about, email me. If you need help with something that you don't comprehend or don't understand or whatever, I am here to help. You know, and if I can't help you, I will find somebody that can. But y'all have a good night. God bless. Take care. Be safe. Bye-bye.